Most of us do it without a second thought. We see our dog walk toward us, we smile, and our hand naturally reaches for the top of their head. It feels loving, it feels familiar, it feels like something we've done our entire lives. But what if I told you that this simple gesture, the one we believe shows affection, is something many dogs don't actually enjoy? Not because they don't love us, not because they're unfriendly, but because to a dog, a hand coming down toward the head can feel very different than what we imagine. I didn't learn this from a trainer or a book, I learned it the slow way, by living with dogs for decades and paying attention to the quiet moments. Moments when my dog didn't pull away completely, but didn't lean in either. Moments when her body stiffened just a little, her eyes looked away, that her ears shifted back, just enough to notice if you were really watching. For a long time, I missed those signs. Like most people, I assumed that if my dog wasn't growling or snapping, everything was fine. But dogs are incredibly polite creatures, especially with the people they love. They tolerate far more than they enjoy. And once I began to understand that, the way I touched my dogs, and the way they responded to me, changed forever. Dogs experience the world through instinct first, before logic, before emotion. And for thousands of years, something moving toward the head from above has meant only one thing in the animal world: danger. Now, that doesn't mean your dog thinks you're a threat. It means their body reacts before their mind has time to decide, especially as dogs get older. Especially when their vision or hearing isn't as sharp as it used to be. What feels gentle to us can feel sudden to them. What feels affectionate to us can feel overwhelming to them. And the truth is, most dogs won't correct us. They won't push us away. They won't tell us to stop. They'll simply endure it, because the relationship matters more to them than their comfort. That realization hit me hard, because loving a dog isn't just about good intentions. It's about understanding how they experience us. Tonight, I want to share what I've learned about petting a dog's head, why it isn't always the safest or kindest place to touch, and what your dog may be trying to tell you without ever making a sound. Not to make you afraid to touch your dog, but to help you touch them in ways that truly feel good to them. If you've lived with dogs long enough, there's a good chance you'll recognize some of these moments. And once you do, you may never reach for the top of your dog's head in quite the same way again. What your dog is really feeling when you reach for the head. Once I started paying closer attention, I realized something that surprised me. Most dogs don't react to head petting, they endure it. And there's a big difference. A dog who enjoys touch will lean in. Their body will soften. Their breathing will slow. But a dog who's simply tolerating it often becomes very still. Their muscles tighten just a little. Their eyes look away. Their ears shift back, almost politely. It's not fear, it's discomfort mixed with trust. They're saying, "I'll allow this because it's you." And that realization changed everything for me. Why dogs rarely pull away. People often ask, if my dog doesn't like it, why don't they move? The answer is simple. Dogs value harmony, especially with the people they love. In a dog's world, conflict is risky. Distance can be dangerous. So instead of correcting us, they adapt. They freeze, they wait, they hope it ends quickly. That doesn't mean they're enjoying it. It means they're choosing the relationship over their own comfort. And that's something we shouldn't take lightly. The head is the most vulnerable place. From a dog's perspective, the head is incredibly sensitive. It's where their eyes take in information, where their ears track sound, where their nose reads the world. When we place a hand there, especially from above, we're entering their most vulnerable space. For younger dogs, this may be easier to tolerate. But as dogs age, this sensitivity often increases. Their vision isn't as sharp, their hearing changes, their reactions slow. A sudden hand near the head can feel startling, even if it comes from someone they trust. That's why older dogs in particular often prefer touch that's predictable and visible. What I learned by changing one small habit. At some point, I stopped reaching automatically for the head. Instead, I paused. I let my dog approach me. I offered my hand lower, around chest level, and I watched. Most of the time, she stepped closer. She leaned into my hand, her body relaxed, her breathing slowed. That was her answer. Not spoken, not dramatic, just honest. Touch is a conversation. This is something I wish more people understood. Touch isn't something we do to dogs, it's something we share with them. And every touch asks a question. Is this okay? Do you like this? Do you feel safe? And dogs answer, with their body, not with words. When we pet the head without noticing the response, we stop listening. When we slow down and observe, we become better companions. Why chest and shoulder? Touch feels different. Over the years, I noticed that most dogs relax more quickly when touched on the chest or shoulders. These areas are easier for them to see. Less surprising, less invasive. The touch feels cooperative, not controlling. When I scratched my dog's chest gently, she would sigh. That sigh told me everything. It said, "This feels good." Dogs remember how we touch them. This part surprised me. Dogs don't just remember that we touch them, they remember how. Over time, my dogs began approaching me differently. They positioned themselves so I'd touch the areas they preferred. They trusted that I would listen, and that trust showed up everywhere else. On walks, during stressful moments, in unfamiliar places. Understanding touch strengthened our entire relationship. Why this matters? More than we think, some people say, it's just a head pat, it doesn't matter. But small things matter to dogs. They live in details, in moments, in body language. When we learn to touch them in ways that feel good to them, we show respect. And respect is the foundation of trust. Especially later in life, for both dogs and people, trust becomes more important than excitement. When head touch is okay. This isn't about rules. Some dogs truly enjoy head rubs. Usually when they can see your hand coming, they initiate the contact. The touch is slow and gentle. The key difference is consent. A dog who enjoys head touch will move toward it. A dog who doesn't will remain still or subtly pull away. Learning to see that difference changes everything. What dogs teach us about slowing down. One of the quiet gifts dogs give us is this lesson. Not everything needs to be rushed, touch included. When we slow down, dogs relax. When we pay attention, they open up. And in that space, connection deepens. A moment of reflection. If your dog is nearby right now, take a moment. Don't reach immediately. Let them come to you. Offer your hand gently. Watch where they lean. That small pause, that willingness to listen, is one of the kindest things you can give a dog. When you take a step back and really think about it, this isn't just about where we pet our dogs. It's about how often we pause long enough to notice what they're quietly telling us. Dogs don't speak our language. They don't explain their boundaries. They don't complain when something feels slightly uncomfortable. They communicate in small movements, in shifts of posture, in subtle changes we only notice when we slow down enough to watch. And the truth is, most dogs love us so much that they're willing to put up with things they don't actually enjoy. Not because they're weak, not because they don't trust us, but because the relationship matters to them. That's something I didn't fully understand until I had lived with dogs for many years. I realized that love, at its best, isn't about doing what feels natural to us. It's about learning what feels right to them. Once I changed the way I touch my dogs, once I stopped reaching automatically for the head and started paying attention to how they responded, something beautiful happened. They leaned into me more. They relaxed faster. They trusted more deeply. Not because I love them more, but because I listened better. And that's really what this is about. Listening with your eyes, with your hands, with your patience, especially later in life, when we've learned that the loudest expressions of love aren't always the strongest ones. Sometimes love is gentle, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's simply knowing when to pause. If you're watching this with a dog nearby, maybe take a moment after this video ends. Don't rush, don't assume. Let them come to you. Offer your hand slowly. Notice where they lean. Notice how their body softens or doesn't. That small moment of awareness can mean more to them than you might ever realize. And if this video made you see your dog a little differently, or reminded you of a dog who once shared your life, I'm really glad you spent this time here. If you enjoy these quiet reflections about dogs, connection, and the small things that matter more as we age, you might enjoy being part of this space. If you feel comfortable doing so, you can show your support by liking this video or subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future stories like this. There's no pressure at all, just a gentle invitation. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring enough about your dog to keep learning how to love them better.